Hey, this is Matthew from Nerd News Today. Welcome back to another statue review here on the channel. Today we're looking at another piece from Diamond Select's DC Gallery PVC figure diorama series, and this time around it's Harley Quinn. So this is Harley from more or less her latest comic look. This is the Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti style version of Harley Quinn, and we'll get a better look of her in her outfit once we take her out of the box. But first things first, let's talk about this package, and I actually really like it. So number one, the first thing I like about this piece and the package itself is that it's very compact. This is a nice smaller size statue, won't take up a lot of space on your shelf. I think there's a pretty fair amount of information in this piece as well that we're gonna see once we take a look at her loose. But yeah, that's one of the things that I've started to like about diamond pieces is they come in all sorts of different sizes and scales. And I like it when they're sometimes just a little bit smaller, a little bit more manageable. I also like the packaging in terms of the colors in this piece here. Now this is one side red, one side blue, and I've also got the signature Harley Quinn diamond shape down here for her logo. So I just think it's a really good looking pair of colors here side by side. It really just helps this character really pop out on the shelves. We have windows, as you just saw, on all three sides. And of course it wouldn't be a Diamond Select statue if you didn't have the sunroof on top. And if anybody could use some sun, I think Harley could, because she's looking a little pale today. And on the back, we have a actually very, very detailed bio about Harley Quinn. Tells us about her being Harleen Quinzel, meeting Joker for the first time, and talking about her relationship with him. But what I find kind of more confusing is the fact that the way this bio here ends, which is really that she fell in love with him, broke him out of Arkham, devoted her life to making him happy. But in reality, at this point, this is her more or less free from the Joker's reign of terror. She's kind of doing her own thing now. Again, this is her from her comic series. This isn't necessarily her hanging out with the Joker. It's really just meant to be her solo, finding her own way, having her Harley Quinn journey, if you will. So I think the bio should have included something about that, because that's kind of important to this piece and what era this piece is supposed to represent. So we also get a nice image of Harley side by side with the statue and the illustration of her. And I gotta say, so far from what I've seen, it's pretty close to being comics accurate. And the back of the box also lets us know that this piece was designed by Nelson X. Asensio and sculpted by Alejandro Pereira. But that's enough about the box. Let's go ahead, bust our Harley loose, and take a look at her from all angles. And we're back, and here is our Harley Quinn now out of the packaging. The one thing I have to say about this, in terms of making a video about this character and this particular statue, it's a little difficult because her pose is really, it's tough to shoot from a lot of angles. That's not to say it doesn't work from all sorts of different angles, because it does. You can see it looks really nice like this, looks really nice like this, but does it look quite as good from the front, or at least the front of her body facing the camera? Not really as much, and again, even from this side, not as much information. So really, this piece is kind of all about that over-the-shoulder look, I feel like, or more of like a three-quarter view, maybe around here. So it's going to make this a little bit more challenging to shoot today, so I hope you guys will bear with me as we go through this piece. So you might notice that Harley here has got some piece of paper on top of a part of the statue. Well, what is underneath it? It is a gun. She's got a revolver. Not just any revolver, though. That's the kind with, it looks like a wooden cork inside it. So is it an actual gun? Is it just a toy for the Joker? I don't know. That's for you to kind of decide. And I think that's also kind of the fun that Harley's having in this piece here, because you can see she has a really excellent expression on her face. If you guys have seen any of the recent reviews we've done, or just any of the reviews we've done in general about a lot of the female characters that Diamond Select has done pieces for, one of my complaints tends to be the faces and how they're very bland and don't really have an expression usually to them whatsoever. And this Harley actually has an expression to her face. She is doing something very diabolical here. She's curling her hair as well, so this whole piece kind of works together as a whole. But that expression on her face is just very sly, slick. She knows something that we don't know. And maybe it's about that gun, maybe it's about something else, maybe it's about the Joker. We don't really know, and that's part of the mystery of this piece and what her smile is. It's the Mona Lisa smile of homicidal maniacs. And as for the rest of the head as well, I really like the paint. I like the curls on the hair as well. The one thing that kind of is not working for me is the unicorn horn of hair right here. There's only one of those. It just kind of sticks out, it pops out almost a little too much for my liking. And I think, according to the way that it looks like on the packaging, it's supposed to be pointed down. So let's see if we can actually adjust that. So I feel like I may have just gotten a misfire here or something, because, yeah, if you look at the back of the packaging, this is supposed to be pointed down, but instead it's pointed up. I think I could turn it, but I feel like it's gonna break off. So looks like I may have just gotten a bad version of it, to be honest. And had I known, I might actually reach out to Diamond, see if I can return it and get a different one. So if I decide to do that, I'll let you guys know. But I do think if you don't want to deal with that, you could probably just yank it out and glue it back in. I don't think that should be a problem. I don't think you'll cause too much damage to it. And it'll look way better when this thing is pointed down, but right now, she's just a unicorn, and that's kind of weird. As for the body of our Harley Quinn, it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty nice all across the board, some good anatomy. It's a little hard to actually really pinpoint how good the anatomy is because her body is in this twist, but I think it's a fairly realistic twist. I mean, she is, I think, a pretty flexible character also, so I don't really need to nitpick too much about that kind of thing. It's a very kind of interesting piece though, because again, it's meant to be this attractive cover girl style Harley Quinn, but there is an actual story to this piece here. There's something happening behind the scenes, again, with that smile, with the gun. There's a lot more to this than just being a cover girl and being a sexy looking character. So for me, this works together, you know. When we looked at the Catwoman piece, for example, you know, one of the things I complained about was her enormous amount of cleavage. Whereas in this piece here, this is Harley's outfit, and what you see is what you get. And, you know, she definitely has some boobage going on here, but, you know, again, it actually works for who she is, what she does, and it's not far from what the character would do. So, you know, in this case, it actually fits, and I don't really have any complaints about that part. And I don't really have complaints about sexy looking statues. It's just more of the context to them, and do they do something besides look sexy? Because that's personally what I want with these pieces, is I want something else besides that. I want some subtext to what the pose is. And I think that there is here. This is a very good balance of having sexy looking character, but also giving the story of the character. What I also like talking about the story of the character is that her base is a bunch of Joker cards. That's really cool, actually. I like the Joker cards a lot. And I like that she's standing on top of it. That kind of adds again to the story. This is the emancipation of Harley Quinn. That sounds familiar. Because she's on top of the cards. The cards are not on top of her. They're not dominating her backdrop in any way. She is standing on top of them, above them, and overpowering them, if you will. So it's not just a base, but it's part of, again, telling the story of what this character and what this statue is about. And I do really like the outfit as well. I love these boots in particular. I always love boots and statues anyway, but those look really good. I'm a sucker for a good pair of knee pads also. And overall, you know, the outfit looks correct, the anatomy looks really good, and the paint job also is very clean. Another really, really clean piece. You know, there were some times, I think a year or so ago, where you were having a lot of pieces from Diamond with a lot of not so great paint application, but this time around, you know, we've seen a lot lately that have had excellent paint application. Nothing really to complain about. I mean, I could just say there's like some schmutz over here in the hair, but so minimal, not really a point deductor in any way. Doesn't really detract much for me. Visually, it's a very strong piece here. I mean, design-wise, again, it's kind of going back to just being that kind of cover girl pose, but there's more to it, so I'm really digging this piece here, you know? And another positive for me is the size of this piece here. This is not a very tall statue. This is really a great kind of piece to have on your desk, on a bookshelf with your comics or books or whatever, and it's not going to take up a lot of real estate. And, you know, for the sake of comparison, here is my Samsung S9 phone, my Droid phone, and you can see it's not that much bigger, not that much wider either. So it's not going to take up a lot of space wherever you're going to put it, and that's a big plus. And especially when you consider the fact that you can pose it like this or kind of more of an angle to take up even less real estate, that makes it a little more attractive to a collector, I think. And just because I have it here, I also have another statue we just reviewed recently, which we talked about. In fact, that's the Catwoman statue here. And you can see them now side by side, and it's kind of funny. They actually go really well together. So I'm not saying you guys should buy both, but maybe I'm saying you guys should buy both so that Harley and Catwoman can be friends and have some good times in your bookshelf together. But again, both of these statues are also not that big. You know, it's a pretty good size. I think it's actually an excellent size for a statue, and for a $50 piece, it makes it really nice, affordable, and very easy to add to your collection. So I think really my only major complaint is just that my particular Harley has got this unicorn horn sticking out of the top of her head. But otherwise, I think they've really kind of nailed the Amanda Conner, Jimmy Palmiotti, Harley Quinn look here. Now we know that more so DC Collectibles, or DC Direct as they're now called, get more of the exact rights to do these characters from those specific moments. So Diamond has to kind of do inspired versions. But I think this particular piece here, it's inspired close enough that you can kind of tell when this is supposed to be from. And I think there's a lot to it that makes it their own kind of version of Harley. So there you guys go. That's our look at Diamond Select's DC Gallery diorama PVC figure of Harley Quinn based on her current comic appearance. Very good piece. I think Harley Quinn fans are going to love this. Nothing to really complain about. I think it's a pretty unique looking piece as well amongst the many other things that have come out of Harley. So I think it's a good entry-level piece and just another wonderful statue to add to anybody's DC collection. So I'm Matthew. Thanks for watching this video here on Nerd News Today. If you want to order this Harley Quinn, you can get her directly from Diamond Select's website or use our Amazon affiliate links in the description below, which helps support our website and costs you nothing extra. And you can also give this video a like and subscribe to the channel to see everything else that we do here on Nerd News Today. And until then, be safe out there, and we'll see you guys later.